Well, gang, this probably isn't a secret any longer because I think I probably have already taken this camper out for its first trip that you guys probably have already seen. But just in case something happened, this is the new 5x8 Tiny Camper Company little micro camper. This is what I've been talking about for a few months. It took quite a bit to get it here. It came from Tennessee. You guys might have already seen this camper. This came from Ben. I bought this from Ben. You might know him as Semper Gumby. He has upgraded to a different camper, and he has to find new of anyone that wanted to buy a camper, so I raised my hand and I said I do. So this was shipped down to me from Tennessee, and he's got a new camper, and I'm running this one. So I'm really, really excited. I've got a whole garage full of stuff that I'm going to update and kind of mod. You guys know how I am. I got to make this my own camper. Ben did a great job. He had this for, I think, over a year, maybe 2 years. Don't quote me, but he lived out of this thing with a 80-pound German Shepherd. And it's in actually really, really good shape for all that he's put it through. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of giving it the Brian treatment. I'm gonna take this thing out to the garage and we're gonna completely clean this thing up as best as I can. It's not dirty, but you know, it's a new camper, so I want to make sure everything gets clean. We're gonna bleach the inside, get the outside waxed, tires. And this guy right here is my, oh, that hurts to breathe that in. But that is an ionizer, so it sanitizes all the surfaces and all the air. And you know, living out of this camper for a year, I just wanted to get nice and clean. We bought this ionizer 5 years ago when we moved into the house because we had a skunk in the house. I can make a whole YouTube channel regarding the skunk that was in our house, but the wildlife expert said to get the ionizer and run that. It is very dangerous though. You don't want to breathe it in. So I've got all of the doors open and I'm just letting it air out now, but that's what that's doing inside. So this is probably, guys, honestly going to be a long video because I got a lot of stuff I want to show you, and it's not even going to be all of it. I can't fit it all in one video. So I'm going to try to chapter this out, show you all the things that I've taken off. So like right now I took off all of the boxes that were up here, which is sitting down over here. The latch doesn't work, the lock doesn't work, and I just really don't feel like fixing it. So I bought a few more boxes that we're going to install up here because I need all the storage that I can get. So we've got 2 boxes that we're going to put up there. And again, I've just got a ton of stuff. I've got lights, I've got batteries, I've got inverters. Rooftop tent is going up top. So a lot of stuff to happen in this video. And again, I'll probably chapter it out because it's going to be a long one. So I'm going to get this thing pulled out and we're going to give it its first true BWO wash. All right, so this is going to be my first box that I'm going to be using. I've got another smaller trailer box, trailer tongue box that's angled that we're going to be putting on top. But this one opens up from the front, and this is going to be where I'm going to put all of my, like my big batteries, my inverter, my chocks, all of my trailer stuff. At least that's my plan for right now. But my OCD-ness, I've got to make sure that this thing is exactly centered and angled just right. So I'm gonna do some measurements, and then we're gonna use the existing holes that are on this trailer and use the same bolts that were on the old box that I'm not using anymore. So I think this box is a Vevor box. I paid 110 bucks for it, and it's the biggest one that I could find. So hopefully it's gonna be enough storage for everything that we need. gonna be a little more tricky, but this is the second box that I got to put on top. So this one opens up from the top, so I can access it, while this one opens up, obviously, again, from the front of it. So this is gonna kind of just be all my everyday junk that I use for camping. I got some butyl tape, because once I drill holes in the bottom of this through this top part, I don't want water to get underneath here and get all the contents of this box wet. So I'm gonna get this figured out exactly where I want to mount it, drill my holes, and then take this thing into my shop, turn it upside down, and then lay a bead of butyl tape all along the underneath. So when I set it down and I put the bolts through and we get it tight, it's going to compress that, hopefully, that butyl seal and create what I'm hoping is a waterproof seal all the way around it. That's the theory. So I got to figure out exactly where I want this, get some holes drilled, and we'll be good for the front. So after about 15 measurements, I think I've got exactly where I want it. So I'm going to drill one hole all the way through and then go ahead and bolt that down to try to keep it in place while I do the other three holes. Okay, that didn't really move at all. Maybe I can go ahead and get all the holes drilled. All right. Swap out drill bits and get the holes big enough to get the bolt through, and put the butyl tape underneath, seal it up. Well, magically found the butyl tape. So this stuff is just like sticky putty, essentially. So I'm just going to put it all along the side. And for good measure, I'm going to put
516 WRPM 832.
one more layer. Say that worked out about perfect. And you can see here I also put my little outside temperature sensor on the back. So this will be fine. I kind of want to get it placed right in the right spot without me having to move this around. That looks good there. All right, now I can get these cinched down super tight to kind of compress that butyl tape, and it really should give it a really pretty good seal. It might be kind of hard to see on this, but you can kind of underneath see that butyl tape seal, and that goes around all the edges. And that should keep water from going underneath here and into this box. But I've got some lap sealant, some lap tape that I use on my RV that's incredibly waterproof. So I'm going to cover up these bolt heads with that tape as well. And that's about as good as I can get it. So this stuff is almost just like butyl tape, but it's mainly for RV, like roof repair, keep leaks from happening in the RV. So I'm just, again, going to cover the bolt holes with this tape. And once you put this stuff down, it's hard to get off. And I think that's about as good of a job of waterproofing as I can do on this. So if I get a little bit of water, oh well. But I think this will do pretty well. I think it's sealed up pretty tight, so we'll see how it works out though. All right, well, you can't have a party camper without a TV, so I got the mount here. I know the echo is terrible, and I gotta figure out how to upgrade this lighting, but we're gonna get the TV installed here, and it's that 12-volt TV that I showed you guys, I don't know, a couple months ago on my other channel, but I got the center of the wall marked, and so now I'm gonna hope that I don't hit this shelf that's behind it. gonna go around to the back, put these lock washers and nuts on, we'll get the TV put on. All right, now let's see. So I did off camera go ahead and drill a hole for the DC plug with the little rubber grommet. So see if we can get this thing put up here. Go ahead and plug it in though, that'll make it easier. I feel like that was much harder than it needed to be. Did I lose the other screw? No. There you go, guys. Tell you what, I'm happy with that. I know the audio in here is terrible, but got the TV set up. I gotta tighten down it just a little bit once I get it perfectly level, but so obviously my head is going to be at the front of the camper because I didn't want to mount this up the front because I wanted to be able to get bolts through the wall and tighten it down. I didn't want to just put them on with screws up in the front. So on to the next chore. I think that's going to be about it for today, guys. I'm pretty pooped, but the last thing I'm going to do is put my Lost Horizon full-size mattress in here to kind of give you an idea of how big this is, because I think I'm going to have just a little bit of space on one side that I'm hoping I can make like a little complete full length, almost like flip up type cabinet. I don't know, it'll make more sense when I put the mattress in. But let's get this thing picked up, and well, I need two hands. All right, so this is pre-blow up. Let me get a light on. So if I push it all the way up into that back corner, you've got this much space, maybe about 5 inches. But it fits perfect front to back. So I'm going to get this thing aired up to see how much space we lose, because I really want to put some type of cabinet that goes all the way down here with a flip-up lid so I can put all of my stuff in it instead of having to use this. All right, well, plan B, because once you get that mattress inflated, you really lose most of your, I mean, I've got just a tiny bit next to me, so I think I'm going to forfeit building a cabinet. But you can see this bed fits pretty much perfect. And again, this is the full-size Lost Horizon, which these are the best mattresses you can get. I've bought 2 of them so far. I got this size and a twin size for my small rooftop tent, but yeah, just perfect. So we got to figure out lighting. Now that the TV's installed, I was going to take this down, but I think I might find a use for it because he's got it bolted. 4 giant bolts, so I don't want big 4 bolt holes showing. So I think I'm going to keep this for the time being, maybe throw my wallet, my sidearm, something up there, but whew, we'll see tomorrow. Well, gang, it's been a few days. The weather here has been absolutely terrible, raining buckets. So I haven't had this thing outside really working on it. So I think today I'm going to start working on what I've been putting off the most, and that is all of the electrical. So back here, I've got my Mark III kind of set up and somewhat plumbed. Everything's a mess right now. I'm just kind of testing it to make sure it works, but I do have it plugged into shore power over here, just on the side. So I do have AC working right now. I decided to use my AC 240 Blue Eddy power station only because it's got this 12 volt 30 amp output, and that's what I'm going to be using hopefully for all of my DC stuff. So I've got the cord kind of coming up here, and it's tied into a fuse block right now, but I think I'm going to take that down because what I'm going to use is this switch panel, because it's pretty slick. This is from NOVSIGHT, and I use the NOVSIGHT lights on my roof rack, but they have a switch panel, and here's all the things that you can put on the actual switch panel itself. But I think what I'm going to end up doing, this is the brain of that switch panel. So once you take that cover off, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got eight appliances that I can run, and they're all different amperages. There's a 10 amp, 15 amp, 20 amp, and 30 amp, and same for that side. But what makes this thing really, really cool, and I'm probably going to end up putting it somewhere on that wall, but this is a wireless one. So here's my actual control panel right here, and you do not have to wire this in. So I can throw this into the back, I can use this in my truck, whatever, as long as I have all of my appliances connected to this and then to my Blue Eddy, which is going to be supplying the power. This just charges up via USB-C, and so you do have to keep this thing charged, but I can literally take this anywhere. It's just like a remote control, and it will control all of my lighting or whatever I use. I might even hook up my TV to this thing since I've got that 12-volt TV. But first thing I got to figure out is exactly where to mount this, get this proper cable here ran up and nice and neat. I think I'm going to take down the switch panel because I originally thought I was just going to use a standard battery. However, I think I'm going to try to run all of my DC loads off of that Blue Eddy, because I can hook up solar directly to this. I can charge it if I'm at camp and I have shore power. So I think this is going to eliminate quite a bit of wiring, believe it or not, than using a standard battery like that guy. Just kind of guessing here, because I'll probably end up moving this, but I need access to the right side so I can put the ferrules in. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here, and we're going to install it right about here. Well, that was easy. So, oh, and this cover also does have the extra fuses too. But now I've got to get the Blue Eddy, I've got to get this cord. All right. So I got my eye terminals that I'm going to use to put on this, I'm going to call it the brain. We got to strip these wires though. You guys get yourself a good pair of these wire strippers. Absolutely amazing and not terribly expensive, but they save so much more time, and they're just really nice. And I don't remember, okay, so the top bolt is the negative, the bottom bolt is the positive. It's good to know. All right, so basically now, oh, I got to redo that because I can't get this XT60. I don't think I can get it through that hole. Nope. Wiring is so fun. I love it. There you go. So I'm not going to bore you guys yet of showing you how to wire all of the different appliances I'm going to be running, but this is the main, again, the main brain, my main power, which is going down, and I'll get that zip tied up nice. And it is just going down underneath, and I'm going to connect it up to this cord. My light died, but it is my 12 volt, 30 amp output on my Blue Eddy. So I'll come back here in a little bit when a little bit more is done and give you guys a tour of what we've done so far. And to show you folks what a ferrule is, these really are the best type of connectors, I think, when you're trying to connect something like this wiring. So you can see here I've gone ahead and put the two on the ends, but you've got all different kinds of sizes, and it comes with a chart, and it also comes with the special crimping tool. And once you get these things on, they essentially just slide into these pockets. You can't see it, but they slide into these holes right here, and you tighten them down, and it's a very secure fit. So I've got my GMRS, my mobile radio plugged in. This is to the TV, so we're gonna get these plugged in and to make sure both of those work when I get that blue eddy cut on. All right, so we should be getting close to getting this thing tested out, but I wanna make sure we're getting proper voltage. So 13.5 volts going into this control panel. I'm having to charge this thing up, and I gotta find some stickers for it, but this does have an RGB panel, so I can change the colors of the buttons, kind of like blue. There's all different kinds, but I really just want to see if this is going to turn anything on. I don't know which one's which, so we'll start here. Oh, okay, so that turned on that circuit. Okay, not that one. It's going to be the last two. Okay, so this one should be my TV. This one is going to be the radio. Let's see. Oh, my radio's on. Perfect. And let's see if we can get the TV on. I think we got power. We got power. All right, well, now that I know that setup is going to work, I'm going to go through and do all the wiring, all the lights, and get everything buttoned down and tidied up and looking good back there, because it's driving me crazy. But obviously, I'll show you folks when I'm done. All right, gang, well, it has been about, I think, 5 days. I've been working on this trailer pretty much non-stop, and I don't really have a whole lot to show for it, just a lot of weird things I've been kind of tweaking and fixing. But one thing, I'm kind of weird though, and I'll admit that, I don't like a big bright white interior. I kind of think it feels like a hospital room. I prefer darker wood, kind of more of a cozy feeling. So what I'm going to do, I got some peel and stick vinyl flooring in this box right here, and I'm going to do a couple of accent walls. So I'm going to do this, which is going to be my head wall, and the TV wall too. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the sides yet, because that's a lot of radius cutting around these windows, and I don't really know if I feel like doing that. But what we're going to get done today is get these two walls put up with this vinyl flooring, walling, whatever you want to call it. But I have bleached out this entire camper. I've taken every soft item out of here that was in it, bleached all the stuff down, just to make it, you know, mine, make it clean. So I am going to get some alcohol here though. I'm going to re-wipe this entire wall down, get it nice and clean, so this vinyl 3M backing will stick to this wall, and then we'll go from there. So this is probably one of the things I'm really looking forward to. I am going to end up changing this light out to a wired light that's going to work while I'm here. This thing is absolutely awesome. So I put my little switch panel thing here, and there goes my radio. But I did add, that's the TV. So I added a light back there with this one, and I'll show this to you folks a little bit more later, and some red lights, and get those cut off. But today's chore is to get these walls floored. So what I chose to go with is just a walnut color, which is my favorite wood. So hopefully it'll add a little bit more coziness. And once I get my bedding in here, it won't be so echoey, hopefully, when I'm creating these videos. There we go. So this is gonna be, I know that's really hard to see with this lighting, which is why I'm gonna change that out. But just a peel and stick, it's gonna go straight up here. Should be easy enough, right? Famous last words. All right, well, I really think that turned out better than I expected that it would be. This wall was a little more difficult with all of the AC ports and the electrical outlet and the TV bracket, but it wasn't terrible. Then we got this back wall here, so I think it just makes it just feel a little bit more warm and cozy. I don't know what I'm going to do with the side walls yet. I know it looks kind of funny, but this is still better than nothing. I think next I'm not going to show you, but I'm going to install this 12-volt light. This light up here is just a battery powered light, and it's good enough, but I want to plug in this and tie it in to the light that I put behind those cabinets right there so that I can use my remote switch. But after that, I think it's probably going to be, I don't know, I still got so much more to do. Probably rock lights underneath, because why not? They're fun and I like rock lights. So I got to get the tent put on top. I got to get my awning. List is long but distinguished, if you guys have seen Top Gun. But anyway, all right, I will come back here few days, few hours, I don't know, and give you an update on what else has been done to the trailer. And then hopefully one of these days we'll be able to take it out and actually use it. All right, good morning, guys. On today's episode, we're going to be doing something I've been putting off because it's probably going to be the least fun. I've got some NILIGHT rock lights. I've actually got 6 of them here. These are waterproof, Bluetooth, 3 LED, full RGB rock lights. I've had these in the past and they've worked really good. However, I had them on something that I sold, so I got these sets for this specific camper. They are, like I said, Bluetooth, completely waterproof. Here's the Bluetooth controller. And I got 6 of them. So I don't know if I'm going to use all 6. I might just use 4 of these things. For it, they do come with these little rubber pads that the light sits on, so it's a little bit of a cushion for the lights. And they got wire routing, if that's going to come through, so the wire kind of sits in this channel so it doesn't pinch anything. But overall, really good lights, really cheap. Hopefully that means they'll last, but if they don't, they're real easy to replace. So I've got these to put on. I got to get the trailer put out, and then hopefully also today we will get to my rear camera backup system. So I personally think you got to have a rear camera, and this is another, I don't want to say cheap, but very budget friendly, completely wireless, solar powered reverse camera from Autovox. And I've kind of played with it out here in the driveway. The picture's really great. I did have to kind of tweak and modify the actual screen that goes in my truck, and I'll show you guys what I did, because I did not like how it came. It didn't work for me, but I did find a way to kind of tweak it to make it work for my setup in my truck, and I'll show that to you. But first thing, I got to get this trailer pulled out and get to work on getting under the trailer and getting these lights installed. So follow along. What I hate the most about wiring lights and stuff on the outside of campers is finding a way to get the power inside and still have somewhat of a waterproof seal. So I think I found a pretty good solution, because there's already, this is how the trailer company itself routed some of the exterior side marker lights, is right up underneath and into the back. So to install this control box, I just simply drilled a small hole right in the back right corner. If I can get that right in the back right corner, and push that wire up through. And I'm going to mount this box with some stainless steel screws and some VHB tape. If I can get my camera angle. Just like that, and of course pull all the wires tight. And then I'll even fill in that hole with some silicone. And I don't think I'm going to have any problems whatsoever with water getting in, because it's up underneath and up above this frame too. So I'm really not worried about it. Now on the inside, the way that I'm going to wire it is going to be to that NOVSIGHT wireless controller. So these wires pull up right through there, and I'm going to route it up underneath here and then directly into this control box so I can use my wireless remote. You can see I've done a little bit of work back here in the back. I had some extra vinyl flooring, and I just installed it, stuck it to this shelf. That Zero Breeze Mark II is doing fine. I will end up using the Zero Breeze Mark III once I get my adapters, but this thing is keeping it nice and cool on the inside. And the AC 240 is doing great. I have it hooked up to shore power right now, so we're at 100%. I did install a new surge protector switch that did not come with the camper. I wanted something with a little bit more joule protection. I think this one's up to 3,700 joules. What came with it was essentially nothing, so I wanted a little bit of protection. But all right, onto the wiring. All right, so right now this is just being held on with VHB tape, and I did use the high temp VHB tape. I think that's pretty important down here in Texas when it gets so hot outside, is this particular VHB tape can handle the heat. And I just have it stuck up here right now. I'm gonna have to go get some screws to permanently attach it to underneath. And this is just the branch connector that all the rock lights are gonna connect to. So I'll have to figure out a way to kind of tidy these up and zip tie them up here. And then I'm just going to start branching off all of the pod lights or rock lights. And I'll show you folks what that looks like at the end when I get all the lights wired up and routed and wires cleaned up. Luckily for me, this trailer is lifted, so it's actually pretty easy to get underneath it. So this isn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more to go. Up front. That wasn't so bad. Let's hope they work. So I finally got the rock lights installed. I got all the wiring underneath kind of tidied up. And I gotta tell you, this might be my most favorite thing that I've done to this camper so far. Because I'm a geek and I like lights. But I've got my wireless remote here. I've got the rock light button. So we're gonna cut them on. And you can see there, obviously I'm on the red, which I think looks pretty darn slick. And it really does help at night at camp. I can imagine if you're trying to open up the door, it does put out enough light kind of where your feet are gonna be landing in case there's any critters or snakes or whatever. But the cool thing, if I can find my phone, here it is. But these rock lights, of course, it's got a Bluetooth app. So you can change the colors through your phone. Got green, kind of light blue. Actually, that's a pretty cool color too. It's kind of got a little bit of a green tint to it. But you can change, you can do all kinds of things with this app that I'm not probably going to get into, but where was that one that I liked? That one was kind of cool. Yeah, kind of looks like the ocean. It's got some green and blue hues to it. I kind of like it, so I don't know. I really, really like this particular mod. Now, I got the tent finally put on tonight. I got it hoisted up. I pushed the trailer underneath it and we got the tent installed. So I am going to be running my Nature Nest tent that I showed you folks a couple months ago. I've kept that because I knew it was going to go on this. My Cray Fuel's still going to go on my truck for when I do truck camp with that, because that is my all-time most favorite rooftop tent I've ever had, is that Cray Fuel. Definitely not getting rid of that. But tomorrow I've got to get these brackets installed up here for my 270 awning. So I'm really not looking forward to that, because that is some very, very thick steel for these roof bars over the camper, and I got to drill all the way through the entire thing, M8 size bolts. So that's not going to be fun, but I'm definitely going to be really happy to have that 270 awning with me everywhere I go now. And I think it's going to be about the same height. You know, I am 6'1", so I might have to duck a little bit, but it's still going to be great having that shade all along this side of the camper. So anyway, gang, I'm taking the rock lights, and we'll see you tomorrow for more mods. All right, no, not even on days now. I think week 3, finally kind of wrapping up this camper and getting the final touches done. You guys saw that I did the AC 240 in the back. I did that because it eliminates a lot of wiring with me having to use a regular standard battery and doing, you know, MPP charge controllers, separate inverters. That's a lot of extra wiring in the back. That's what's powering everything on this camper, all the lights, all the fans, TVs, everything inside and basically outside the camper. However, I want some kind of power up here on the tongue box, and I'm waiting on this to arrive, so I can't fully show it to you, but I will in the next few videos when I'm actually out using this camper. But it's an outdoor outlet extension basically that I'm going to tie into an inverter and this battery right here. So I'm going to end up drilling a hole somewhere down here on this box to where I can actually plug in some type of device if I'm out camping and I need to maybe use like my Joule coffee maker that, you know, requires 500 watts to plug in. If we want to run some lighting, I don't know, but I want to be able to actually access AC power from the front of my tongue box. So I'm going to be, and guys, I've had, I can't count how many batteries I've had over the last couple of years. They probably all come from the same production line, let's be honest, but I tend to have the best luck with 2 batteries, and one of them is the REDODO brand. REDODO, however you want to say it, I don't know. I think REDODO, and there's a couple of other good battery brands, but again, they probably all come off the same line. But this battery here is 165 amps, and it's basically the size of the original 100 amp hour battery. So it doesn't take up a lot more space, and it fits in this box. And it's got Bluetooth, which is what I had to have for this battery because I want to be able to monitor at camp if I have to. And it's just got a real simple app. Right now, of course, I'm at 100% state of charge, and it's got all the information that I would absolutely want. It's got the power consumption, the power input, cells are balanced, and that is essentially it. It's got everything that I'm going to want to make sure that, you know, when I'm monitoring it, to make sure I don't have to charge it up when I get home, whatever. But we're going to put this, there's a couple of things I'm still waiting on, but it's going to go down here in the corner, and I'm just going to place it to kind of show you folks where it's going to go. But it's going to live down there in the corner. Now, I am going to have to go get some, I'm going to call it cement board. It's basically similar to sheetrock, but it's what is typically behind your, like in your shower. It's completely waterproof, very, very durable. And I'm going to put that battery on top of that and then get some L brackets and kind of wedge that battery in the back so it doesn't move around on transport. And then I'm going to build another little box to go on top of the battery, of course give it a little bit of room to breathe, and that's going to be where I'm going to mount my inverter and tie in that outdoor outlet so I can basically turn that inverter on from inside the box, and then I can plug whatever appliance I want from the outside of the box. But having 165 amp hours right here on the front of the tongue is going to be more than enough, especially with my Blue Eddy in the back. So I just think these are good batteries. I haven't had any bad luck with them whatsoever, so that's what we're going to be using on the front. Now, let me show you the other few mods that I've gotten complete in these last 3 weeks that you guys haven't seen. So if y'all were paying attention on my last few mods that I did on my rooftop rack on my truck, I installed some 3-inch NOVSIGHT lights with little halo rings that will look pretty cool. I was really happy with those lights, so I went with the big boys on this one. I got 4-inch NOVSIGHT lights, and the only unfortunate thing is you can see this right here, this little X. Those are halos as well, accent lighting, but they require a separate switch, and I ran out of switches on my switch panel to run the halo. So I'm not going to be able to utilize the halo function of these lights, but the actual lights themselves do cut on. I have these wired separately, and I've got 2 more in the back. But let me get my switch out and show you. So all I did was just mount them to the T-track of my tent itself, and then very nastily ran the wires up underneath my tent. We'll have to figure that out, but I've got a button for the front and a button for the rear. So if we turn the fronts on, it's really hard to tell, obviously, in the daylight, but this lights up way more than my little 3-inch lights did on my other rack that I installed these NOVSIGHT lights on. And then if you go around here to the back, basically did the same thing. I got these lights mounted up here, and we can click rear and turn those bad boys on. So now I've got a ton of light. Again, it's daylight. I know it's kind of hard to tell how bright these things are, but mounted them the same way on the T-tracks of the tent. So it's really easy now just to use this little switch panel to turn. If I'm sitting in the tent, I hear something in the front, hear something in the back, These aren't, I didn't want to tie these together because I wanted to be able to use them separately. So if I hear something in the front, turn the front, hear something in the back, I can turn the backs on. Really happy with these lights. I like my Morimotos on my truck, but for a little bit more budget friendly option, I hate that term, but for a little cheaper option, these NOVSIGHT lights have done really well. The ones on the 3-inch lights have done really well that I put on my truck rack. So the other last little tidbit that I've installed is, I was telling you guys I was gonna do a backup camera. So this is that box, completely wireless. There are no wires whatsoever on this. There is a solar panel here, and to be honest, I don't know how good that solar panel is gonna work because it is facing 90 degrees horizontally. But you can charge it up here on the side via, unfortunately, a micro USB connector. But I do have this thing topped off, fully charged. The camera can rotate up or down, and I just have it stuck onto the door with 3M tape, so I can't get it off. I did try to move it to move it up top, but I decided against that. But I can tell you that 3M tape, it's not going anywhere, and it's going to be an absolute pain to get off. But let me show you guys what I did for the actual monitor, because I did not like the monitor that it came with. It just really didn't make any sense. So here's what we did for that. This is the screen mount that came with the box, which basically you're supposed to put this on your dash or stick it on your dash. Oh. And I think that's a really bad design. I don't want to stick this anywhere on my dash, and the screen just pops into this little bracket right here. I did not like that idea, so I grabbed a magnet. So what I did was I just grabbed a magnet, a tiny little, really thin magnet, and I 3M taped it to the back of the screen. And so now I can use this on my mounting grid that I have in my truck. And what I did, if you climb in here, I got this arm here from Bullet Point. I bought it from Bullet Point, and it's just a magnet right here. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but now using this magnet, it simply just sticks to it, and I can adjust this to however I want. So now all I got to do is plug in the 12 volts when I'm going down the road and cut this thing on. Now I doubt it's going to reach all the way inside my garage. Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath on this. Oh my gosh, it does show up. Guys, that's about 20 feet behind this car, behind that camper, where that camera's mounted, and it's showing up. I don't think the GoPro's doing it much justice, but that is a very, I mean, it's super clean. It is very distinct. I mean, I can read, you guys can't, but I can read what's on these little items down here. So I'm honestly did not think that this wireless system would pick up from here all the way in there, but it does. So this is going to be, you know, the way that I'm going to be able to back up. I also have intentions of running like a carrier rack in the back. There is a hitch mount on the back of that trailer, and storing firewood, maybe even a bike rack. And this way I can just turn the camera on going down the highway and check the contents behind the trailer to make sure everything's still there. And again, it's just a really cheap option. I think it was around 120 bucks. So definitely not the most expensive backup camera that you can get, but I think it's going to get the job done for what I need. And I'm pretty happy with the way the screen turns out, and the fact it reaches all the way in there. So kudos to this little camera. So final kind of walkthrough before I actually take this thing out. But you've seen all the front. I did install a few more solar lights. I think I went over that. You saw the NOVSIGHT lights. 270 awning. I'm not going to take it out here. I'm going to show you what that folks looks like actually out at camp. Got the Nature Nest tent, more solar lights, of course the camera. I gotta pay homage to that guy right there, because that's actually what pays the bills and lets me do this. So let's go inside, and I got my bedding all done, and it is dark, but we can just simply go up to my switch panel here, click interior, and here we go. So I did redo this lighting up here, which is much nicer. I can make it super bright, which is, I'll never get it that bright. you can press it and change the color temperature. So I'm gonna keep it kind of right in the middle. What all have I done in here? Got window shade coverings on this window. I've got it on this window, but it's just rolled up, but you know, it's got Velcro. So you can very easily see inside this camper if just like a TV is on or anything. So I wanted window coverings over all these windows. I got them installed here. It can roll down. That I did put some shelving on, so I just cut a couple of pieces of wood, painted it, and installed it on the side here, just to, you know, put drinks or whatever. We've got a 12-volt fan. Let me get this light cut on. We got a 12-volt fan up there in the corner that's tied into my switch panel right there, labeled fan. I got a little storage container caddy rack thing that's just, right now it's got some knives and whatnot. I've got an Olight hanging up. I've got a 20,000 milliamp power bank that's Velcroed to the wall with the wire going all the way down and plugging in up underneath to that USB power delivery output. So when I'm plugged into camp, I can plug this in to the power bank and it's going to keep this charged. But at night, I'll just plug in my phone, which I've got a cord here wrapped around, already plugged in, plug my phone in, set my phone up top. I'll keep my phone charged. I installed my Olight seeker on the side of the wall there. I wanted a pretty powerful flashlight right here by the door, just in case. So we got that sitting there. What else? I got some magnetic remote control holder. So this is for the TV, and it's just got a little clip on the back with a little place to put it right there on the side, and this is going to control the TV. So I'll always know where my remotes are. This little guy is kind of just fun. It's just a little ambient lighting, so I can cut my little lamp on. We can cut the interior off, so that's fun. I do have my little Olight O-bulb up there that we can cut on, just to provide some pretty cool lighting. And then if we're in the mood to really party, we can cut on those guys. It's a little much, but it's still kind of fun. And then I've got some touch lights here in the back underneath. So I got one, we got two, and these are just AA powered magnetic stick-up lights, but they're actually kind of perfect. They provide just the right amount of light. They're not bright at all, but in the dark environment, these are absolutely perfect. I've got rechargeable rechargeable AAAs in here, and yeah, they seem to work well. Let me get the interior lights cut on. Got a little trash can over here because I'm always eating snacks at night, so I installed a little trash can. This is, I'm going to show this to you folks actually at camp, because this was quite the ordeal to get my GMRS radio. I've got it wired to the outside. I had to get a C-sucker mount. I've got this mount that's going to go up on the roof, but I'll show that to you guys at camp because it's pretty cool. Coming around here to the back, again, I kept this. Let's see if this is open. I've got a lock on it. So this is going to just basically be my first aid kit. So open it up. Probably gonna get banned on YouTube, but I've got a flashlight, I've got my Guardian Angel light, I've got some extra bear spray, I've got my kind of knockoff Leatherman, I got my super powerful, like 50,000 lumen, something stupid crazy bright Woobin X1 Falcon light, and then my bear spray. So that's gonna go up there, and I do have a lock that I got for it. Not gonna keep anyone out if they want in there, but it keeps nosy neighbors from just opening it up. We'll get that turned. All right, now you can't get in there. Of course, I got the Texas flag. What do I have up here? I've got I bought some rechargeable AAA batteries with the charger for all of these different lights and whatnot. I can just plug this in to that outlet right there if I need to charge up some AAAs. What else have I done in here? I don't even know. I am running my small little EcoFlow. I think that's the new River. Very small, but just in case, for some whatever reason, I need to charge something. I've got that up there as well. Oh, and while I'm looking, guys, this TV that I installed can connect to a Bluetooth speaker. So I've got a little JBL Flip 6, I think is what it's called, that I just mounted up underneath. So when I'm laying down here in bed, I basically have surround sound. This speaker is a very good speaker, and you turn it on and everything that you hear from the TV is coming right down there on my head. And of course, if I want to listen to music, I got that right there. So this was this was kind of a thing I wasn't even thinking about doing, but I'm glad I did, and it works really well. So that's about it. And then over there, you know, I've got my indoor outdoor thermometer, and then I've got a little cup holder here for my water at night. These things just pull out, and I can put my bottle of water right here on the side when I'm not using it. Just flip it up, gets out of the way, and my pillows kind of cover it up. But that's about it for the inside. I'm not going to go crazy into detail on this because you guys are going to see a lot more of this. But this has taken way longer than I thought. I thought I was going to get this camper out before I did, but we ran into some issues with scheduling, and there was just more work on this camper than I thought there would be. But I think I've got it to a point now where I can just kind of tweak a few things to where I really like it, add a few things as I start taking it out, things that I realize that I want or need or add or whatever. But I think I'm at the point now where I can comfortably take this thing out, have a good night's sleep, and enjoy the heck out of myself. So guys, thanks for watching. I know this was a long video. I'll try to remember to leave as many links as I can down below. If I didn't put something down in it, just shoot me a comment, ask me where I got it, and I'll get back to you and tell you. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. Now it kind of feels like my own camper because I put my own little spin on it. So guys, we are taking this out tomorrow. So hopefully you'll see the first episode of me out in the wild with this camper here in the next few days. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.